side. Uh, won't keep you long from the battery session. That's a guarantee that I can give for sure. I'm really happy to be on the dais representing Siemens for the next 10 minutes. Just to give a very brief introduction on what we are doing or trying to do in Siemens here. So Siemens has been a technology partner in the space of electrification, automation, and digitalization. Yeah. We strongly believe that when it comes to the topics of adapting, applying technologies, new technologies, latest technologies, be it in the field of classical technologies to do with sensing topics, or be it in the field of advanced technologies, which are going to deal with AI, ML, ChatGPT, and so on and so forth. Yeah. We strongly believe and propagate that please use technologies only where it makes sense and not just for the fun of it. Yeah. So to begin with, whenever we need to address a challenge or a pain point that, let's say, is faced by the manufacturing fraternity, that is where we see an opportunity for the application of technologies. Yeah. So just listed down a few pain points out here. Increasing, let's say, efficiencies with regards to engineering topics, operational topics. Yeah, we are on the verge of a lot of expansions that we have been hearing the whole day round in the field of chemicals, petrochemicals. Yeah. So how efficient can we do engineering? How fast can we set up our plants? How efficient is it that we can have our manufacturing processes? Speaking about quality and cutting costs, yeah, trying to balance the golden triangle, of course. Shortening, let's say, the down times. Yeah. We heard these also coming up as challenges from our speakers during the daytime. Reducing risks during change management. Yeah. So moving around from one technology to other, or let's say moving around in terms of expansions, yeah, retrofits, or let's say for the sake of it, putting up greenfield plants as well. How do we reduce risks in such instances of change management? And eventually, yeah, we are dealing a lot with ensuring that we are able to collect the right amount, quality of data which will be used in future for analytics, or which can be used even today for analytics. So how can we ensure that whatever data is getting generated, the via media of this data getting generated is always as is always in a, let's say, as built state throughout the life cycle of a plant. Yeah. So let us try to decipher the challenges in parallel with the way the process industry operates. Yeah. So the way the process industry operates, I would broadly categorize this as a change management topic, either CapEx or OpEx, eventually leading to a lot of engineering work. Yeah. So engineering work is where data starts to get generated. Yeah. So data with regards to building topics, your asset topics, your process engineering, electrical, mechanical, yep, instrumentation engineering topics. So a lot of engineering work is what gets initiated. The engineering work that happens eventually leads to output of data, output of documents. So incidentally, I'm sure the fraternity out here would agree to me where I say that today also there are systems which you are following wherein information is taken care of, let's say by the means of something we identify or know as a document management system. Yeah? So eventually any work that gets carried out gives output of data and documents, and that is what leads to closure of this change request. As a life cycle aspect, we are eventually ending up generating loads of data, loads of documents. Yeah? Let's try to have a look into how or what is the tool landscape that is being applied, used today, yeah, for a classic, I would say, a document management system. So a change request ideally getting originated from a quality system, getting implemented in a host of engineering system, depending on the nature of engineering activity that is required to be performed. Yeah, it could be with regards to electrical changes or electrical engineering, mechanical changes or engineering, process changes or engineering, instrumentation changes or engineering, so on and so forth. Different tools and platforms and technologies that are applied. Eventually, we would like to harmonize this, right? We are trying to build data lakes today. Uh, we do this by, let's say, starting to define a functional location chart, maybe in some data repository, which can be something like your asset system, it can be your ERP system, it can be your material management system or a material manager, so on and so forth. And ultimately, something to take care of the quality aspects across the life cycle, which is largely the calibration systems. So like I said, all these topics are generating data. Yeah. But what is interesting out here is you see documents getting generated. Eventually, what is a document? Document is, in a way, representation of information. Document is, in a way, representation of data. Yeah. Here, what we see in a classical approach of a DMS, what we end up with is generation of documents. But now comes the challenge statement. Now comes the problem point. What if you have to undergo a change request again? Yeah? What happens then? So let me try to bring a perspective of trying to manage such data, handover of such data, let's say from a greenfield or from an EPCM stage or an EPC stage to the owners and operator. I would strongly believe that everybody out here would be with me when I say that the quality of data is something that would degrade when there is a handover that happens ideally from a project or an engineering team to the owners and operators, right? So when a new plant is set up or when, let's say, expansion is done and when it is afresh, when it is new, maybe you have got all the information handy, which is in an as-built state. But as the plant gets into operations, as you start using it for maybe 5, 10 years, 15 years or so, in this duration, this is where loss of information, loss of data happens, because all these operational changes, yeah, any kind of a change management which is going to impact data is not getting captured automatically into a system. So this is reflecting, let's say, a poor quality of data across the life cycle. What would be of interest to an owner and operator if they have to manage this amount or this quality of data is they should be able to edit or author this information in its native format. Yeah? Without it being available to them in a native format, that's where the challenge statement again comes up. So what do we do? Yeah? Or how is it tackled today? Again, from a perspective of a document management system, the focus out here is trying to generate documents. So if we look at where does these documents or these data reside, probably they reside in a multitude of data silos. Yeah? Some archives, some files, some emails, so on and so forth. And as soon as a change request is generated, yeah, we would see that there is an inference, a reference that is required for the existing data. There is interpretations and activities performed by individual disciplines, and ultimately it could lead to a lot of workflow systems as well. When we talk about workflow, an impact it has is that you could also have external agencies who are processing these workflows, external agencies who are ultimately impacting the status of your documents as well. Yeah, documents or call it data as well. So any change management, the point that I'm trying to make so far is any change management, any information management, any data management as part of being able to address it over the life cycle is a challenge statement today in the industry. So what do we do, or how can we address to this challenge? So it's a strategy, it's a vision that I would like to give to you in the next, let's say, 4-5 minutes or so, is that we try to move away from the concept of a classic DMS to the concept of a DDMS. So DMS over here stands for a classic document management system. We continue to use the same, but imbibe the concept of data and document management system. So how do we do this? Instead of focusing on documents when we are addressing to change management, we focus on objects, we focus on assets. Yeah? So assets are the integral part of anything and everything that we do with regards to manufacturing. So instead of focusing on documents, we try to focus on an object. Yeah? Any change that is going to happen in this object is eventually to be transferred to the multidisciplinary aspects who are eventually responsible for this object. So how can we do this? I'm going to take the liberty of using a platform from Siemens to explain this concept. So we have got something called as a COMOS. And the concept out here, which can also, by the way, be generalized, is trying to address assets in terms of component object servers. Yeah. So a component object server, it identifies an asset as a tag. Yeah. And all the aspects, whether it is with regards to different disciplines, it could be with regards to how a mechanical person would look at it, how an electrical person would look at it, what type of, let's say, three-dimensional modeling is going to influence on this specific object, which eventually is a part of your entire manufacturing layout. What kind of process engineering is having an impact on it, and as part of the life cycle, how are we going to take care of the maintenance aspect? So just imagine a system, a DDMS system, which is able to cater to a change management. Yeah, that's my starting point, a challenge statement, which is able to cater to a change management across the life cycle of a plant. Yeah. Being able to address an asset and not eventually a document. So ultimately, documents will get generated, but the way of working, day in and day out, the methodology of operations or working, or let's say change management, is what we are looking to change out here. Yeah. So a very quick short demo on what I mean to say out here when I say object orientation. So COMOS is a platform from Siemens, supports object orientation. This is ultimately that is going to provide high consistency across different disciplines or different, let's say, stakeholders in the organization. So here we take an example of a pump. Yeah, this is an asset, this is an object. A pump can be represented in something like a P&ID out here. The same object has its representation in SLD. It has its representation in terms of its detailed circuit diagrams, in terms of its specifications, so on and so forth. So if we try to look at a simple change management activity, wherein let's say we have to change the tag name of this asset, yeah, how does it impact? So with the object-oriented concept, yeah, that we could follow for a DDMS, if we are changing, let's say, in this example, a tag name of a motor, we are ensuring that automatically different disciplines are going to see this change without any intervention from their side, without any possible intervention from their side. So this is one.